Hello and welcome to One Storyteller, where we are going to begin our descent into madness or something like that.
That's terrible.
We have to talk about the Council of Elrond. This is chapter 14, or chapter 2 in book 2 of the Fellowship of the Ring, which is a terrible way to think about it. So it's chapter 14.
2.
No, it's chapter 14. That's how this goes. I am Reagan.
I'm Andrew.
Excellent. I know. You keep introducing yourself to me every time we do this.
Ditto. Touche.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to the computer. You're talking to me. Yeah. You can't, exactly. You can't say anything about that. If you say something stupid enough, kids, it works every time. Okay.
This is
So
terrible advice.
Council of Elrond. We may get. We're probably not going to get through this in one. It
is much longer than all the other
Yeah,
chapters.
it's ridiculously long.
It's like 12 pages longer, something like that.
Yeah, it's essentially a chapter and a half, near to 2 chapters, and it's dense lore drop after lore drop. Personally, I don't like. I have a bunch of random notes on it, but I don't know. But you have a lot more things to say, and so this may well be split into 2 episodes.
I don't know how long it will take,
yeah.
but yeah, it might be 2.
Might be 2. Might be just a long one. Maybe we do it in 30 minutes. That's not going to happen,
That'd be
but
funny.
maybe. that would
I don't
be
think
really
that's
funny.
possible.
Okay, Council of Elrond. So, you like this chapter?
I do.
Okay.
Should
than chapter
should
2?
I talk about why I like it?
Sure, yeah.
We talked some about like these songs. It was in the Weathertop chapter.
Yeah.
We talked about how these songs in Tolkien's work they make the world feel old and real.
Yes.
Like this, or rather, the songs make the world feel old, which makes it feel real.
Yes.
Because the world goes beyond just the surface level, and that's just one of the insane and exceptional things about Tolkien's writing. Is Lord of the Rings is being told in the context of all these earlier legends that Tolkien had written.
Yeah.
And so it adds a lot of depth. And this chapter really takes advantage of all that. It does.
Yeah.
It's different from Shadow of the Past.
Yes.
Which
It's
is
better.
a good chapter. I wouldn't put it in if I was going to rank favorite chapters, this would be in the running. That chapter, not even close.
Yeah, terrible. This is a terrible chapter.
It's not a terrible chapter, but
It's just not even close to being in the best chapter.
yeah, I'm not.
No,
Anyway.
there's only great and terrible. There's no in
Oh my
between.
goodness. What I'm trying to say is that chapter we're just kind of getting little bits and pieces of things.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it, that does draw on the same kind of depth I'm trying to explain here. But this chapter especially does.
Yeah.
And especially when Elrond is talking. It's more clear, I can grant you that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, maybe one of the reasons is you can see how it's more immediately relevant.
Yeah.
And that's one of your main issues.
That's the big thing for me, right? Because chapter 2 is interesting, but I can't really sort what's relevant and not. Whereas this
Here you
chapter,
can.
there are summaries of some things that we've seen before,
Yes.
and summaries of some things that aren't really relevant.
Exactly.
Whereas most of the direct dialogue is very relevant to what's happening, and I can clearly connect it. Because you even said with some of Shadow of the Past, it's background information, but it's not. It doesn't really do anything for the overall plot, which is a big thing because I don't know, as not a first time reader, but as a returning reader after a really long time, I don't remember what's relevant and not.
Yeah.
And that's more confusing, especially when it's the second chapter in the book.
Yeah.
Whereas Council of Elrond is also a lore drop in the second chapter of a book,
But
technically.
sort of in the middle.
Yes,
Right?
it's much.
And it's probably
It's just easier.
you're going
I
to get
just
more
like
out of it when it's placed here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like this a lot more. Than
I feel like it's
Shadow
sort of
of
a
the Past.
perfect storm for this kind of chapter.
It is a storm.
There's a storm within me.
Rings of Power is a funny thing.
Okay. So that's why I like the chapter.
Yeah, fair enough. I do like this chapter in comparison to the other one. I think it is a little bit long still. You can cut out half of Gandalf's dialogue. If he would summarize down a little bit, that would be cool.
My least favorite part is probably I love Gandalf
He
talking
just keeps
about
talking.
that, but it probably is a little long.
Yeah. But also, it's very fitting with Gandalf's character. So, like, I understand why it happened, and I understand how it is proper that it happened that way. Personally, I would prefer that it didn't happen that way, but I don't like people like Gandalf who just kind of keep on going on and on. Maybe it's because he's too similar to me. I don't know. I do that sometimes. Maybe. You didn't have to agree so readily there. That was rude, aggressive. Anyway, so Frodo wakes up, just like in the last chapter.
A lot of chapters start this way.
Apparently so. Tolkien can't think of a better way to begin a chapter.
What in the world?
Yeah, he keeps repeating plot points. He wakes up and he goes out to offend the council, to go attend the official council that's happening. There is a warning bell, and Gandalf's like, "Wow, there's a warning bell. It's for the council." Thank you, Gandalf. And so they go to it. Yeah, he's introduced to like various people. They're going in and they're sitting down. Everybody who's called out, I think, is a member of the official fellowship or the future fellowship, and then there are a few extra ones as well, but mostly characters that we've seen before.
Yeah. It's just the really wise elf lords,
Yeah.
Gandalf, the hobbits, Elrond, Glorfindel. He's, I guess, one of the elf lords.
Yeah.
Then Glowin and Gimli,
Mm-hmm.
Boromir and Legolas, it seems.
Yeah. So it's basically the guys who we're gonna see.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were other people there. Also, this is a spoiler alert for the end of the chapter. Sam is just sitting in the corner.
Yes.
I hate this
Why?
because we should talk about it at the end. But
Okay.
yeah,
We'll talk about it at the end.
I have a note on it at the end when it actually comes up. Like,
Interesting.
I think it's just very bad characterization for the council, not for Sam. It's great for Sam. It's terrible for the council.
I'm
and the people who
interested
are in
to
there.
discuss this with you.
So, yes, they get in there. Glowin talks a lot about Moria. That's it.
Yes.
Balin went there. They haven't heard from him since, and that was brought up briefly in the last chapter. It'll get brought up a couple more times later in this chapter with some things that are going down there. And as Glowin is sitting there to introduce some things, Glowin, there's just a really weird story that goes along with the Moria bit. So Mordor sent a message to
Erebor.
I guess, yeah, Erebor, yeah, the Misty Mountain.
The Lonely Mountain.
Yeah, the Lonely Mountain. My bad.
Yeah.
Mordor sent a message there
Mm-hmm.
about the hobbits to the dwarves,
Mm-hmm.
about Moria and potentially some of the dwarf rings of power that were lost.
Mm-hmm.
And why? I mean, this happened a year ago, is what he said. And since then, the messenger has come twice more. And the messenger is going to come again a third time, or rather a fourth time, to check and see like what they're doing about it. If I don't remember exactly when Gollum was taken, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Why is Mordor messaging the Lonely Mountain about it when they already know that
Yes. So
the ring is in the Shire?
because they don't know where the Shire is, or at least they didn't at
okay.
that time. Gollum didn't know where the Shire was. He just knows I'm Bilbo Baggins from the Shire.
Okay,
And so they're trying.
that makes sense. More sense.
Sauron, we'll find out later, personally torturing Gollum, which is wild.
Dang. Yeah,
And you got the little freaky hobbit guy getting tortured by an evil god.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's one of the reasons why he's so messed up.
Yeah.
But they find out from Gollum this information and the connection to the dwarves around there.
Yeah.
So they're trying to exploit that.
I guess that does make sense. What doesn't make sense to me, I guess, out of all of this is the maps of Middle-earth must be terrible. Because Boromir spends 110 days looking for Rivendell.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows where,
Okay.
where it is, apparently.
This is dangerous that we're already getting into a tangent.
Yeah.
But that is one of the most like realistic things ever. Like Tolkien has tons of maps because he wants the readers to know what's going on.
Yes.
And the implication is the hobbits put these together later on.
Yes.
Like because they
Post
traveled
the
so
journey,
far.
yes.
But like even when Aragorn is taking the hobbits like from Bree to Rivendell,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have a map.
Yeah.
He says, the road's real important. If I even just went up here, I don't know if I could find my way over here
Yes.
because I haven't been there before.
Yes.
So that's actually like a really realistic thing, is like having precise maps is rare and difficult.
Yeah.
We're spoiled to have GPS and such.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that
if you
is
haven't
true.
heard of a place, and you just know people just have a legend of like a vague direction,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. 110 days to look for a big elf city where, like, does he just run across nobody who's ever heard of it?
for
Like,
most of the journey.
That's wild to me. I guess maybe it's just like a 21st century thing, but I cannot
think so.
imagine
This is a
that
big
happening.
world.
It
Like,
is a big
the
world.
The hobbits, like, they took some breaks every once in a while, but it takes them a month to go from the Shire to Rivendell.
Yes.
And Boromir's journey takes like a little over 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's still making like good time even for not
Yeah.
going where he's going.
I guess that is fair. Thinking about the distance, that is
Yeah.
much more reasonable if that is the scale of the world.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. I still think it's silly, but fair. At least it's consistent.
It is.
Like, even if it is
I
silly.
I
So
think it makes sense.
if he is just asking for directions, that does make more sense. It would be weird for him to send a messenger again after they've already figured out where the ring is, where the
Yeah.
Shire is.
And I think by the time, obviously, if they're still waiting for the third messenger, Sauron already figured it out.
Yeah.
Because Frodo was getting chased.
Yeah, that may well be
But I think part of it is
the
like
case.
international relations. Like he's trying to intimidate the dwarves or like sweeten them to his side.
Yes.
Like, I give you these rings. The dwarves, Moria is their ancestral home.
Mm-hmm.
I could give you that.
Yeah.
If you help me out. And that could be, if they help him out there, then maybe he can convince them to help him out in other ways, you know?
Moria is the ancestral home. The rings are also their ancestral inheritance, but they don't have any of them, which is Balin went to Moria to get one because he thought one might have been there.
Yeah.
Rip Balin. Well, I guess we won't technically find that out, but like Rip Balin.
Yeah.
And so, that does make sense, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I retract my complaints here. I know.
Fair enough.
So that's Glowin's section for now. He'll speak up a little bit more later on, and then Elrond starts talking.
Yes.
Do you have anything before this, or should we just get into?
we can talk about Elrond.
Okay. Elrond gives a history lesson.
Okay. I do need, before Elrond's history lesson.
Oh, never mind. He doesn't give a history lesson, actually.
The first thing he says is, "You've done well to come."
Yes.
He says, "We've come to decide what to do with the ring, and how to oppose Sauron." He says, "This is the doom that we must deem." We have to decide what to do with this evil fate.
That's a stupid line. Okay.
No, it's awesome, man.
That's.
And he says, "This is the purpose for which you are called hither." He says, "Called I say, though I didn't call you." And this is like really overt, like religious belief on Elrond's part.
Yeah.
And it's not as though everything's fated to happen, because they're trying to determine the best choices to make. But Gandalf and Elrond are huge believers in providence. I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It isn't that everything's worked out to happen, but they can see the hand of God and the hand of God's angels, the Valar, the gods.
Yeah.
They know they're not like overtly interacting with the world like they did in times past, but they are still helping here. And I just think that's really neat.
The Council of Elrond is the Esther of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. Well, Esther, I think, is a book about providence. Yeah. But it's not the only place we see it, obviously.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I think it's really, really powerful. Like, the founding, the leader of the council, and one of the driving forces of the council is this belief in providence, and that they have an opportunity. And really, I think it's right to say Elrond believes they have a God-given opportunity to oppose evil. Yeah. And that's a really cool, like, foundational belief to uphold this discussion.
Yeah, and that's the That's the driving force. That's the conclusion of it. Is we have the opportunity right here, right now. Let's not waste it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what
Which
to do.
is very noble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty cool.
that's what I said before he goes into the history lesson.
Well, even with that paragraph in particular, you've done well to come. There is nothing you can do other than resist. You can do it with hope, or you can do it without it, which is great. You will learn whatever you're facing is only a part of what's going on.
Yes.
And like everybody is sharing in this trouble, so let's all share in the solution is another thing. Because elves and dwarves don't exactly have the greatest of relationships.
There'll be a little...
Hobbits don't have great relationships with anybody. Nobody likes men. And so there are all sorts of different problems, and yet the driving force of Council of Elrond is let's get everybody to work together. It's basically Star Trek.
Yes, I can see what you're saying.
Yes,
it's like
I think
cooperation.
So. Yeah, there's a reason that like a lot of fantasy stuff copies this kind of idea of all the races kind of hate each other, and the solution is everybody should work together to oppose the greater threat.
That's a fundamental truth we long for.
Yeah, is
you're different than me, but can't we appreciate like these true things and do something about it?
We can like we're all capable of different things. We're all knowledgeable in different ways. Let's put those things together and actually defeat evil instead of just trying to kill each other and letting evil grow greater and greater. So it's a nice thought. Elrond just phrases that very nicely, and I like how he says that.
Elrond is great.
Even if he says, this is the doom we must deem, which is a stupid line.
I'm a sucker for that kind of language.
That's so dumb.
No,
anyway.
It's not.
Anyway, we can agree to disagree.
We can.
That
to oppose evil together, I can tolerate
I
whatever
can
you're
tolerate
saying.
How silly that wording is.
Oh my goodness.
So Elrond gives a history lesson.
Yes.
Okay. Now he does. Man, I was worried about that for a second. Basically, this is the one where it's mostly just summarized.
Yes.
And so.
You better be thankful it's summarized, because he has a lot of details about all this.
Because that would cover way too much. Basically, the basic plot is Isildur, who used to be the king, he was the son of Elendil, who was the king of Numenor, I believe. No,
the king of Numenor was really evil at that time. Elendil was just a minor prince.
Oh. Cool.
But he comes to Middle-earth and he founds a new kingdom.
Okay, so that's how that worked. Yeah, I knew he was Numenorian, and that was about it. So Isildur, who is the son of an important guy, the leader of the humans
he
on
becomes
Middle-earth.
king when he comes to Middle-earth.
Yeah. He was the one, even though his dad died, Sauron got him in the end. Isildur was the one who took the ring from Sauron.
Yes.
And he took it as weregild.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
So a blood price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that term anymore.
No.
I love that term. It's a great term.
Well, what? Okay.
It is a great term.
It is. How are you like holding fast to that while hating on this is the doom that I deem?
Doom that you must deem is just a silly way to put things.
Continue.
Doom and deem. It's like a rhyme, but it's not a rhyme. It's like this is what we should determine.
All right.
But it's just a silly way to say
it.
it. Weregild is a great term.
He takes it as weregild.
Yes. And the point is, like, Elrond was there.
And also...
some other guy. Was he important? Probably.
Yes. I just forgot his name.
Círdan.
Círdan from the Grey Havens.
Círdan of the Grey Havens.
Círdan, brother.
Right, it's a C. C
Which is
not
pronounced
a real
with a hard K in Middle-earth.
Interesting. Okay, fine. Círdan and Elrond both advise Isildur to get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. So it ends up being they've hurt Sauron extensively, but they didn't kill him.
Yes.
And that's what's given rise to the opportunity.
Yes. And that's what
and this is kind of why everybody hates men.
He doesn't hate men.
Well,
he does in the movies.
Yeah.
But that's why Elrond says the Dark Tower is broken, but its foundations were not removed. The ring was lost, but not unmade. The power of Sauron is broken, but not utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
And this would be...
the weakness of mortals has allowed Sauron to continue.
this is something you kind of brush past this, and
Probably.
but I think it's something we should talk about.
Oh yeah.
Is Elrond is talking about. It's one of the things he brushed past really quickly. He's talking about this story. He's talking about the last alliance of elves and men,
Yes.
which was the last time there were enough elves who were able to like make an army.
Yes.
And they were really, really like it was a Pyrrhic victory against Sauron. Like
Mm-hmm.
tons of elves died,
Rip.
tons of men died. Obviously, a ton of orcs died.
Yes.
But the elves cannot recover from that kind of loss anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But in this last alliance, Elrond says, well, he paused and then he sighs because he was there, which surprises Frodo. He's like, what? You're that old?
Yeah.
But Elrond says, I was there. He says, I remember well the splendor of their banners. It recalled to me the glory of the elder days and the hosts of Beleriand. So many great princes and captains were assembled, yet not so many nor so fair as when Thingolladrim was broken, and the elves deemed that evil was ended forever. And, you know, the description we had from Elrond last chapter was he's seen many joys, but also many griefs in his time.
Mm-hmm.
And after Frodo interjects, he's like, what, you remember this? He says, yeah, I remember the elder days. Arundel was my father. He was born in Gondolin. He says, I've seen 3 ages in the west of the world, many defeats and many fruitless victories.
Rip.
And I'm trying not to get carried away with this.
Yeah.
But this is like beautiful. Like it really contextualizes all like the history into the present. Or and
Mhm.
even maybe it's better to say it contextualizes like the present into the past.
Yeah.
Because Elrond wants to defeat evil. That's the point of this council.
Yeah.
He's like, I remember the last alliance. That was great. It was almost like back in the day when all the elves thought they had defeated Morgoth, Melkor,
Mm-hmm.
by their might. He says, that was good. We thought we defeated evil forever. He's like, nope. I've seen lots of defeats, lots of victories that were fruitless.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and when he's talking about the last alliance victory over Sauron, he says, well, it wasn't really fruitless. We did win, but we didn't completely destroy evil.
Yeah.
And that's just like this battle he's talking about when Morgoth's evil towers of Thingolladrim were thrown down.
Yeah.
By the power of the elves. They thought they defeated him, but not utterly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a reminder, like, there's hints of this here. It's like, you can't defeat evil on your own.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the sin or regret of the elves. Not all of them, but the elves who had gone into the west and then come back, the Noldor.
Yeah.
Is that they came in large part to wreak vengeance and justice through their own power. And they failed utterly. They're broken, diminished people. And, you know, it's a complicated sort of story, but a large part of it is they're trying to gain vengeance and justice themselves. And that didn't work out.
Interesting. Fair enough.
But Elrond says, but he's putting this fight is in the context of this larger fight against evil. Like he's
Mhm.
appealing to, like, we're fighting Sauron, who's only like one generation, if you will, removed from Morgoth, who was the first,
Yeah.
like literally the first evil person.
Yeah.
So they're not too far removed from that. They're
Mhm.
still fighting him.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. There's
just
still
that truth of like you can't win on your own is
Yeah.
really important here.
yeah.
And
The longer that they've delayed, the more difficult it's gotten.
that's the other
Right,
part of
because
it.
they started with apparently so many elves.
Mhm.
Then they had the alliance of elves and men. Men are, in many ways, inferior.
Mhm.
Just not as close to divine. That Numenorian breed is incredibly great, but after the war, then it says I was going to bring this up. It was the next thing that happened.
Okay.
A bunch of elves and men have died in the war, and then elves slowly decrease and the men multiply but they're getting less great. Like, they're morally decaying, but also they're just like physically decaying as well. They don't live as long. They aren't as powerful. They just aren't as great. There's like a loss of splendor in the line of men, which is not good. If they had gotten rid of evil in the first place, then maybe they wouldn't have
slowed
had
that down. Yeah.
But now, instead of elves being the majority, now it's human beings, and now it's weaker human beings who now have to fight the evil. So get rid of evil while it's young instead of letting it fester for so long.
Again, like the story for Middle Earth is more complicated, but that theme is certainly true. Yeah.
It would have, if Isildur had just ended it, then
and he had the power to do it. Yeah.
It would have been a whole lot easier. But now everybody else, now the very last remnant of Isildur's line and a bunch of lesser men have to go and end it, which is it's just more difficult. So there's a mention even here that Arnor, the northern kingdom of men, is gone entirely. Yeah. And Gondor, the southern kingdom of men, is mostly gone. They are holding the line, but they
have Minas Tirith
getting less and less.
They lost Minas Ithil to the enemy, and Osgiliath in the middle is completely destroyed. So their border has been shrinking backward.
Yeah. They are keeping Sauron at bay for the moment, but Sauron is also very weak right now, comparatively. Yeah. And so as that grows, they're going to be pushed back more and more, and men cannot resist, so they have to. I mean, even here it's kind of hinted at, you have to get this done now.
Oh, yeah. And Boromir sort of, Boromir isn't thinking about this, but he's sort of embodying like the elven mistake, which is maybe we can win by ourselves. Yeah. And that's sort of his whole flaw.
That's his whole beat. Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, Boromir, when he gets introduced, I missed this in my notes earlier, at the very beginning of the chapter, when he gets introduced, he gets a whole lot of information about him, about his dress, his garb, his attitude, his like everything he's carrying. He's going to be very important, and he's kind of the antagonist of this chapter, or at least he's the guy who's constantly saying stuff and also kind of constantly wrong.
Yeah. If anyone is most wrong, it would be Boromir.
Yeah. He is the embodiment of a normal human being, way out of his element, which is
he's separated from this reverence for the West. Like he's a great man and a noble man and a hero in a lot of ways. Yeah. But he doesn't have this knowledge or reverence that the other wise people do. Yeah.
He just hasn't had access to it, right? It's been dying out in Gondor. It's
not exactly his fault. Yeah, that's a good point.
Plot point that we referenced last chapter, and Aragorn brings it up later in this chapter, or maybe it's Gandalf. Yeah, maybe it's both of them.
I think Gandalf.
And so there's like, he is the greatest of normal human beings, but for this you need somebody else besides that. And so in many ways, as great as he is, he demonstrates the inadequacy of humans. Aragorn is the physical line of Isildur, which we'll find out in just a minute, but like Boromir is the mental line of Isildur.
No, that's true.
Aragorn does not give in to the weakness. He knows Frodo has the ring, but he doesn't take it.
Yeah, and Frodo wants Aragorn. When we move out of this, I think that's about all I have about Elrond, and we're starting to move into Boromir and Aragorn, which happens right after that, because Boromir says, "I'd like leave to speak. Gondor is strong. Do you need help?" And you have to admire his like patriotism and his confidence and his willing or desire to help people. Yeah. But there's a couple like important flaws or missing pieces of the puzzle of his worldview. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. But, we're back into
Aragorn, says, "Hey, this is who I am." Yeah. And Frodo's like, "Oh, the ring is yours." And Aragorn's like, "No."
Which is very important because Boromir contradicts that later on in the chapter. Yeah. Aragorn says, "I'm not in charge of the ring. You're not in charge of the ring. Sauron's in charge of the ring." Whereas Boromir, when he speaks up the second time, will come back around and say, "Why don't we take charge of the ring?" Which is exactly what Aragorn's saying don't do. It's what Isildur tried to do, which was a bad idea and ended poorly.
That's a great point.
And so, it's Aragorn is representing the best of mankind, which is partly because he's, like half elf and stuff like that, or vaguely descended from them. Boromir is representing the best of the worst of mankind. Like he's trying, but he's just not up to par, unfortunately. Yeah. And I feel like that's his running character in the whole book. Yeah. Which is depressing.
And it is sort of
Boromir is
sort
my
of
favorite
is
character in
unfair.
Fellowship of the Ring.
No, the movie does him wonderfully.
Absolutely.
But,
Rip Sean Bean. What a cool guy.
Again,
In every single thing he's ever been in.
but that's sort of the sad thing for Boromir is like the company he's put into usually far outstrips him.
Yeah.
Um,
This people. Among human beings,
yeah.
this
if
guy's
we saw him in a
incredible.
different context, like
But
he'd be great.
yeah.
And
Hobbits are better, and Aragorn's better, and
without
Gandalf's
pride,
better.
usually it seems he's able to recount his valiant deeds. Like
Mhm.
I was one of the last people to defend this bridge.
Yeah.
And he's maybe there's a little bit of boasting there, but that's not the impression I get. It's just like
Not really.
I was
no.
helping to defend this bridge. Me and my brother and two other guys, are the only guys who made it back.
Yeah.
Like that's some exceptional valor.
Mhm.
Like that's like patriotism and strength that's worthy
Yeah.
of admiration.
Yeah. He was chosen to be the messenger to
Mhm.
go and he even chose to be the messenger.
Yes.
He wanted to go and pursue this because he thought it was more important. And so he was
Which
willing.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Nobody else is going to see it that way.
Yeah.
But he was willing to step off of the front
Yeah.
line to go and seek out whatever this dream is about because he does have a dream.
Yes. And this is
Faramir, his brother, has a ton of the same dream.
yes.
And then Boromir has the dream. I don't know
So,
if Boromir actually got the dream or just kind of invented it because he'd heard about it a lot. I wonder.
Faramir will shed some more light on this
Okay.
in the second part of the Two Towers.
Eventually, yeah.
But it is implications would be well, you're sending the dream to the guy you want to go,
Yes.
and this is a dream. I think it might be spelled out specifically. Isn't just from the Valar, but from God Himself.
Oh.
He's like, hey, you should come to this council. And like the implication probably is like if Faramir's getting it more often,
Yeah.
then he's the one who's supposed to come, which is interesting.
Interesting.
But Denethor and Boromir are like, no. Boromir, you go.
Yeah.
And like it seems like Boromir has like overall like good motivation.
Yeah.
For being here, but it is
That's
interesting,
terribly sad.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Faramir would
Resists
not
the
have
ring.
done the Boromir thing. He
Yeah.
would have been so much better. Just so much more capable. And Boromir is more capable as a warrior.
Yes.
They would have been better off had they stuck to their roles.
It's almost like biblical. It's like, let me do this thing I'm really bad at instead of.
Yeah.
And I think there's part like we'll talk about it more
Mhm.
much later.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah. Denethor is not great. And
No.
that gets implied several times in this chapter. This would
Isn't that
be
interesting?
kind
Like,
of
even
an
at this point,
unwritten implication, but even when he welcomes Gandalf, he really doesn't welcome Gandalf. And so like there's a tension there. He doesn't like
And
the
like
fellowship.
Gandalf and Elrond say, the people, and even Aragorn say, in Gondor they are forgetting the past,
Yes.
which is like tied to reverence for the West,
And-
which
yeah.
they're Numenorians. Like they had a much greater appreciation of it than anyone else.
Yeah.
But Denethor, like the thing that's explicitly mentioned that Gandalf reports from Denethor
Mhm.
is, yeah, go look at those scrolls if you want to. For my part, I think the present is a lot worse than the past, so I'm going to focus on the present instead of the past. Like that's literally what it
Interesting.
says.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So,
Literally, it's a slight
Yeah.
paraphrase.
Yeah. so it's interesting. So to wrap up Boromir's section, he fought against a ring wraith. There's a big shadow,
Or
like
at
a
least
great black
forces,
horseman.
like driving, commanded by a Ringwraith.
Yes.
He
and
was
so,
close enough to like
Yes.
feel and experience it.
Yes. So he fought against one and lost, and like had to back away from the situation. Aragorn fought 5 and 1. Like that's another comparison, which I know there are problems with
Yeah.
that, but also
No, sure.
there is a distinction there between
Mhm.
Aragorn, like the true heir,
Yeah.
and Boromir,
And like
the false
to
one.
Boromir's defense, like there is the extenuating circumstance of like thousands of orcs.
Yes.
But,
yeah,
yeah.
like not his fault,
Yeah.
but also it's a way of establishing
I agree
the
with
difference, and especially when Aragorn speaks up here
Mhm.
in a moment, like there's more of a distinction between because Boromir's dad Denethor is the steward of
that.
Gondor.
Yes.
And so he's like the son of the steward. He's like the secondary prince,
Yeah.
but the steward's only in power as long as the king's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
And Aragorn is the son of the king.
And this is like one of the most blatant Jesus connections to
Yeah.
my mind. Is
Yeah.
Aragorn says, or Aragorn stands up and says, "Well, I'm in a way the answer to this vision you had."
Yeah.
And Boromir's first response is, "Who are you, and what do you have to do with Gondor?"
Yeah.
Which Hey, legit, if you see like some raggedy ranger speak up like that,
Understandable.
but it's like that's a negative characterization from the get go for Boromir.
Hmm.
As this guy says, "I am the answer to the vision," and Boromir says, "Whoa, get away from me! What do you have to do with what I'm talking about?"
Yeah. And it's specifically,
It's,
what do
it's
you have to
almost like
do with Minas Tirith?
Minas
With
Tirith,
like
yeah.
my city. It's
My city.
it's where he belongs. And
Yeah.
so it's not even the overarching Gondor. He's king of Gondor, but like what does he have to do with Minas Tirith? He's never
Yeah.
been there. He's never done anything for them. Like which
true.
he kind of has, but like
Oh,
I mean,
that's
well,
true. Yeah.
It's complicated.
Aragorn will talk later about how he's during these years of his sojourning.
Yeah.
He's gone far to the east and far to the south, always opposing evil,
Yeah.
and especially he's done it in Rohan
Hmm.
alongside Theoden's dad. This is spoilers here.
Yeah.
Theoden's dad, and
Aragorn is
alongside
old.
and alongside Denethor.
Yeah.
Denethor's just 2 years older than Aragorn.
Oh, that's whack.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
Cool. Yeah. We'll get to him in just a second.
But I wonder, like Denethor will later be like show like really great selfishness. He's like, "Would you
Yes.
supplant me as ruler of Gondor with
Yes.
this raggedy ranger?"
Hmm.
Gandalf's like, "Well, he's the true king, so yeah." And
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some of that has poisoned Boromir some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Not really Boromir's fault, but like
Yeah. Well,
that's just how he was raised. yeah.
He does have a choice about that.
Yeah, he does, and he will come around a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll take a long time, and it's unfortunately slightly too late.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mention here that Rohan might help Gondor a little bit, but like
No one else does.
not.
Oh,
yeah, very little,
Mhm.
and no one else does. Rohan kind of gets some really bad press here,
A lot.
which is interesting, and we'll explore that more with Gandalf later on.
Yeah.
The last thing is specifically the ring, the dream that he had is darkness in the east sky,
Mm-hmm.
which is a sign of Sauron. There's evil in the east. In the west, there is a little light, a pale
Yes.
light. So there is glory in the west and a solution there. And then it's a dream that essentially says there's a broken sword. That's probably important. There's Rivendell or Imladris, but it's Rivendell is how we know it. There's some doom that needs to be dealt with. There is something called the Isildur's Bane, and there's a halfling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all of those elements just come to bear right here,
Yes.
which is exactly where Aragorn steps in and says, I have the sword. Frodo has a Isildur's Bane. He's a halfling. Like,
And we're here in
we can
Imladris.
figure all that out. Yeah.
This is like the pivotal moment.
Yeah. And so Aragorn steps up.
Mm-hmm.
He has the broken sword, declares himself the heir, and that's when Frodo says, "Oh, so you have the ring?" And he's like, "No, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Isildur II. He is going to rule, but he's not going to make the same mistakes his ancestor did."
Yeah.
Which is good. Boromir doubts him, and so Aragorn. Firstly, Aragorn does not introduce himself as Aragorn.
That's true.
It's Elrond
Mm-hmm.
who introduces him as Aragorn, son of Arathorn. He is descended from Isildur, right? It's interesting. Like, biblically, let another praise you and not your own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so Aragorn doesn't say, I am the king. He lets somebody else say that
Mm-hmm.
and witness to his identity, which
Yeah.
is just
To his
cool.
credit, yeah.
And then he starts talking about his role in things. Like, they introduce the ring and the conflict that it's going to bring.
Yeah.
But he tells himself as a ranger, is how he describes himself,
Yeah, he says, "I forgive you for not thinking I'm impressive."
which is kind of the point,
Yeah.
like of how we display ourselves. But then he parallels his work to Gondor's.
Yes. And it's not like some boasting competition.
No.
It's just Boromir is probably putting a bit too much credit on that.
Yeah.
So Aragorn's trying to wake up this younger man.
Well, it's just like it's Arnor fell, yes. But just like Gondor is keeping evil at bay in the south, the Rangers are keeping evil at bay in the north. And you don't really know what we're doing, but there's a wider world beyond you, which is something Elrond said you should consider, which
Yeah.
Boromir is not considering right now.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he's not up to snuff with the rest of them. But it is this idea of like, what do you have to do with Minas Tirith? Well, the ideal of Gondor is keeping evil in check, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
he's living up
Absolutely.
to his ancestors kind of more effectively than they are.
Yeah. And it is even like I don't look like a king, but
Yeah.
I've been acting like a king.
Yeah.
Which is defending the people I'm responsible for.
Yeah. I know that I don't look like anything, but here's my experience, and you be the judge of whether that is
Yeah.
kingly action or not. And Aragorn does say the only reason I am leaving the north is because there's this prophecy that's looking down,
Right.
that's telling me I have a greater duty to fulfill. I would prefer to be here. Like, this is where my work is. My heart is up here in the north,
Yeah, exactly.
but I
have
have
a
work to
duty.
do down in the south, and so I
Exactly.
need to go and get that done. Greater things are afoot than Boromir thinks, and greater things are afoot than Aragorn would normally deal with.
Yeah.
And so both of those things are true, and they're very much set up as rivals or opposites here, which is going to play out as the conversation gets further and
Mhm.
further.
But even after this, so Boromir's first reaction was, "Who are you? What have you to do with Minas Tirith?" And even after Aragorn kind of like presents himself,
Yeah.
fully and openly, we read Boromir looked again at Aragorn, and doubt was in his eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's
And-
sort of like it's sort of pharisaical in a way.
Mhm.
Is the true king is here, and you should have expected the signs of his coming.
Yeah.
Like you should have known enough to recognize and accept him.
Yeah.
And Boromir is doubtful.
Yeah.
And I think as we get to know Boromir more and more, we'll see it's probably in part because of thinking about his own glory. Like there's some part it's like, okay, it makes sense to like be a little skeptical about a ranger.
Yeah.
But we'll see this extends a bit beyond that, at least a little bit beyond that.
Probably. Not that Boromir is excused in doing this, but also all he's ever known is there is no king.
Yeah.
All he's ever known is I have to do the
That's
work.
true. I've been in
instead.
charge.
And so,
Yeah.
And so he feels obligated to be in charge. And in many ways, he tries to kind of run the Council of Elrond and
He
get
does
his
sort
word
of,
in.
yeah.
He
Mhm.
needs to learn that he's not the important one.
Yeah.
But all his dad has ever taught him is that he is.
Sure.
And so that's unfortunate. And he has not been raised in a very useful way for his ongoing or his productivity. But
Yeah.
he'll learn a little bit over the book. If only he learned a little bit sooner, then we would not be as sad about him. But
Yeah.
I like Boromir. So he's cool, and he goes quiet for the moment.
Yes.
So he'll be back later, but he recedes back a little bit. So Bilbo is asked to speak up, and he basically tells the story of the Hobbit.
Oh, it's funny that right before he's called to speak up, he kind of like stands up and reprimands Boromir. It's just funny to imagine Bilbo doing that.
Yeah.
Especially like the movie doesn't show any interactions between them at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny to imagine that. And we also find out that Bilbo wrote the "All that is gold does not glitter" poem.
Yes.
It was also kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote the specific poem, but it was based on a greater
This whole it's based
statement or
around
prophecy,
Aragorn, yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Aragorn told it to him a while ago, and so he put it to verse or put it to music, however
Yeah.
that works. So Bilbo tells the story of the Hobbit.
He does.
Excellent. And
Apologizes
then
to Glowin, but he
he's like,
tells
yeah,
the story of the
I might have lied earlier, but this one's true. Frodo tells the story of the Fellowship of the Ring, Book 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I'm glad we don't get any of that repeated. And Bilbo even says, Frodo, you would have been a good storyteller if everybody had just shut up and let you tell your story. It's interesting that no one interrupts Bilbo, but everybody interrupts Frodo. I don't know if it's because the story's more relevant,
I
or
think
it's more
that's the implication.
recent and they haven't heard
Yeah.
it before, or if Frodo is just less respected than Bilbo. Like, everybody knows who Bilbo is. Frodo's just this kind of upstart, so like,
Yeah.
I
think
don't know,
it's
probably
more, like
more
the relevance
relevant,
of it there.
probably.
But
And then Gandalf starts talking forever. We will probably go through Gandalf's section, maybe Legolas's interjection, and then because we're at 45 minutes, so we
We
should
are.
probably call it there, and then we'll do the rest of Gandalf later on. But
probably.
for his first section, he summarizes some stuff from The Hobbit, vaguely.
Yeah. Well, he starts really far back.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's not told in Elrond's like summary of what Elrond said. It's actually Gandalf just talking about it.
Yeah.
And so this section does take a while. Most of it is interesting, but that's well.
Well,
Oh,
I think it's something we can brush over unless you
Yeah.
have like some specific things here.
Yeah.
It's just like a more eloquent version of what he's already told Frodo,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes.
Just like with some of those things he brushed over in more detail. Like,
Mhm.
I was working with Aragorn here to find Smeagol and all this.
Yeah. The Necromancer was in Dol Guldur. It was Sauron the whole time,
Yeah,
which I think was vaguely hinted at earlier.
I think so.
And in Shadow of the Past, and now it's definitely here.
Yeah.
Saruman said it would be fine to let him go,
Saruman, yeah.
which I don't think was mentioned earlier.
No. Like, we get first hints of some of those
Yes,
details.
Saruman is a bad guy, by the way,
Sleeper agent.
and that will get further and further. But Gandalf kind of plants that seed here.
One of the really, I think, like, important points here is Gandalf's reflecting on basically all this time that Saruman has encouraged him not to act.
Yeah.
It's like, things are fine. The ring's in the sea, man. It's in the sea. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And he's lying. And Gandalf's
Yeah.
like, he doesn't feel great about it, but he's like, okay,
Yeah.
I can trust Saruman.
Well, is he lying? Was Saruman lying at that point, or was he unaware?
I think Saruman was lying even then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I got the impression that this is like it started unintentionally, and then it developed into something where actually the ring is here. Let's use it.
Sure.
Instead
I don't
of,
think lying about the ring or believing the ring to go to the sea is
Mhm.
like some, like, he's the expert on,
Yeah,
like, he's studied
but I
all
don't
of
think
this.
he knew about Gollum,
He didn't.
and so I don't think he knew that the ring ever got retrieved from the sea.
Yeah, or from the river there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still in this
Okay.
first part of the story.
I think
So-
Saruman is starting to be culpable for overt evil.
He is definitely culpable. I don't know how overt it is yet, but regardless of what he thinks about the exact ring, when they get rid of the necromancer, they find out that he's Sauron, and they watch him run away. Saruman says, "Let's not chase him. We can just watch him, and it's okay,"
Mm-hmm.
which is stupid at best.
Yes.
And that may be something that was a little bit intentional, but Gandalf contents himself to watch,
Mm-hmm.
which he says is a mistake.
Yes, and that's what I was trying to get
Yeah.
at is Gandalf's reflecting on all this time spent, and Saruman kind of being like, Saruman shouldn't have been encouraging them to wait.
Yeah.
But Gandalf also shouldn't have waited.
Yeah.
And
At the very best, Saruman is highly questionable.
yes.
At the worst, Saruman is
And
downright
so
evil.
We're seeing Gandalf's greatest mistakes happen like off screen or before
Mhm.
the story starts.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like, this pattern of waiting being a mistake is something we've seen
Yes.
over and over.
Yeah.
And I think,
It's Hobbit, and it's also Gandalf.
yeah, Gandalf does it.
Isildur does it.
Uh,
He waits.
He wouldn't think about it in that
Yeah,
term,
yeah.
but yeah, he does. Sauron does it. I think
Hmm.
the Ringwraiths
That's
do
true.
it.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
true.
to their mistake as well. And I think we can see why the Ringwraiths do that.
Yeah.
But
No.
like, it's a mistake from like their evil side's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone ends up regretting waiting instead of acting.
Yeah.
Which will be like the main application for the council toward the end.
Yeah.
When they actually, here's the information. What do we decide to do? It's
Yeah.
like, we can't wait anymore.
Yeah, we could wait, but as long as we wait, Sauron will just get stronger. So the entire message of the thing is just go out and do something. Like, you got work to do. So it ends up being pretty simple that way. Gandalf just watches Sauron, and Sauron grows faster than they thought he would. He's not as powerful as Gandalf thought, and that's one thing Gandalf brings up
Oh yes.
at some point is I overestimated Barlaman's ability to get a message to Frodo, but I also overestimated Sauron's power at getting to Frodo. Both of those were lesser, so Frodo didn't get the message, but thankfully Frodo didn't need the message exactly when he got it, because he still got out in time. Sauron wasn't fast enough, so he does have an underestimation of some kind. But you have this idea that good men sitting by and watching and letting evil exist is just encouraging the
Yeah.
evil to
It
exist.
is not good.
It is, yeah, don't do it. Don't do that. If you have an opportunity to get rid of evil, you need to step up and do something about it.
And I think sort of the point, and we're going to see it with Frodo, is even the least of us can do a lot more than we think we can.
It's important. Of course, there are, people who would take that kind of sentence too far, that kind of idea. But yeah, you can't have the same kind of inaction that these people have. You have to go in and do something about it.
For sure.
So Gandalf, in his indecision, goes after Gollum, can't find Gollum, a little bit too late. Goes and just kind of waits around for a bit. Eventually, Aragorn says, "Let's hunt for Gollum," which is a movie that's coming out next year or something, apparently.
We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. At least it's only one of them instead of being multiple, I'm pretty sure, for now. So he kind of waits around for that, and then he kind of joins in on the hunt for Gollum, but then he abandons the hunt for Gollum to go and search in Gondor's archives. And then as soon as he finds something, he leaves Gondor's archives to go somewhere else. And it's like, he's not actually doing anything fully. He's taking half steps as he goes through everything. He's not really sure what to do because he's had some weird advice from the guy who's supposed to advise him. And so, but he's not really sure what to do. And so he keeps bouncing back and forth. And in the end, he really doesn't accomplish anything. He learns a few things, but he misses out on the whole big picture of Saruman being bad. So it's very haphazard. This is not his best showing.
Yeah, I think that's a bit much to say. Not committing to finding Gollum wasn't great, but Aragorn does find Gollum and Gandalf's able to talk to him.
Eventually. Yes.
So I don't think Gandalf is... That's the only thing he cuts off before it's complete, but he has it in someone else's hands to do.
Yes.
So I think that might be good, actually. Like, that's sort of like delegation in action. Because he goes to Gondor, and he completes everything he needs to do at Gondor. Then he hears about Gollum, and then he goes and does everything he needs to do with Gollum.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Frodo. So it is chaotic, and it's hard, but I think this actually is a good showing from Gandalf. Like, once he starts doing stuff, he does a lot of good stuff.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe. Yeah. He does accomplish what's necessary, and he's not... Yeah, I mean, he should have done something about Sauron. They all should have.
Yes.
But he's not ultimately... Like, that's not really his call. That's not really his fault exactly.
Yeah. Well...
He's culpable a little bit.
No. So
but it's complicated.
This might be, like...
Yeah.
Too grand or whatever. Sure, Saruman is, like, the head of the council.
Yes.
And so, like, he has... If we're assigning blame, he gets the most blame for that.
Yeah.
And especially if he's lying to them.
Yes.
But he's their leader, so he has a responsibility to lead.
Yes.
And he's not leading.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not excuse Gandalf, Elrond, or Galadriel, and whoever else was involved. I think it's just them.
Yeah. From
not pursuing Sauron.
No.
Like, we can't say it's not really their fault.
No,
like,
it is.
It definitely is their fault.
It is.
But yeah, Saruman can have more blame, but they're each responsible for not choosing to do something when they had the opportunity to.
Yeah. Gandalf is, he did the Bilbo thing and got content. Yes. He did the Frodo thing, and that was not good for him. So as soon as he leaves that, he does get Gollum captured eventually. Mm-hmm. He does find out some things from Gondor eventually.
And this is even what Elrond says. He's like, I'm to blame too. He says we're all to blame. Mm-hmm. And then he says, if it hadn't been for everything you're doing, things would be a lot worse. Yeah. And that's sort of the takeaway is
fair enough.
Made a mistake, but now he's got a fire lit under him now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it did work out.
Yeah.
Right. Which is
skin of their teeth.
We almost came to ruin, but we didn't. And so we can move on from there. Denethor was not very welcoming. Gandalf went to Gondor to go and find out some things, to go and research rings.
Yes.
Because he started...
the records from Isildur.
Yeah, he started thinking about that and then was like, things aren't quite adding up. I need I need something else here. Saruman learned it from Gondor. He spent a lot of time down there, and that's where he did a lot of research. And so Gandalf goes to follow in Saruman's footsteps and actually learn about the rings. And Denethor is kind of grouchy about it,
Very.
which is, that might play into why he doesn't like Gandalf much later, but that'll come up in a little bit. Isildur has written a few things about the ring and about his experience with it.
He makes a copy of the inscription on the ring.
He can't read it, but he copies it down.
But I will make it's sort of a little over obvious. It's sort of funny to read. It's like, it's fading even as I write. I'll write this down so there's a record of it here. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I think like the scary thing is, he says, it's precious to me, though I buy it with great pain.
Yes.
So everyone who spent a lot of time with the ring starts calling it precious. You don't want to let go of this.
Right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And the only confirmed owners that we have are Sauron, who obviously wants it back, Isildur, Gollum, Bilbo, and now Frodo, and all of them have referred to it as the precious.
So we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Soon. Like after this sort of discussion?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Then I have a tangent, unless you have anything else.
Oh, I definitely do. Firstly, it's very odd that Isildur's like, Sauron's hand was warm, so maybe the ring would glow, like the writing would come back if it's put in fire. I think that's very odd, and then it's very coincidental that it also happens in earlier in Shadow of the Past. So it's like one guy said one throwaway line, and Gandalf says, well, this would prove it. I don't know. It's whatever. I can hand wave over that. I don't really care.
Well, I think remember with that chapter, Gandalf's like, I'm just guessing this is the ring of, ring of power, but I'm pretty sure. We can prove it if this inscription shows up.
Yeah, but like if it... Yeah, I don't know. That sounds weird. Very odd.
At least how it's framed here is a little strange.
But he says, I don't want to put it back in the fire. I don't want to hurt it because of all of the works of Sauron, it's the only fair one.
Yes.
Which is to say, if the guy who is totally evil does this one good thing,
then I'd like to have part of it.
It's probably not good.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds that he did something that is actually decent are probably little.
And it really is sacrificing his good sense.
Yeah.
Like, you think Sauron was wearing this just for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is the great evil
in the universe. You think Elrond and Círdan told you to destroy this for fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently. But it's like, this is something good that he did. Like, I know this guy was evil, but he did this nice thing, so I'll keep that around. No, probably not. And he doesn't take that warning, and so unfortunately he will deal with some problems. Yeah, that's about all I have.
Yeah. We'll talk about
this
more when we talk about wizards next time.
Yes.
I have a wizard tangent planned next time.
Exciting. Planned.
Yep.
Okay.
Planned tangent. But Sauron is grasping that he wasn't always evil.
Yes.
Even Sauron's master wasn't always evil.
Yes.
But Sauron has reached out and grasped. He wants a realm for himself. And he's blinded himself into thinking that the gods and the high god are just going to let him bebop around in his kingdom forever.
Yes.
His kingdom in Middle Earth.
As you do.
But it's completely stupid. He's never going to have enough power to resist the gods, and if he's ignoring them, that's probably even more stupid.
Yeah, that's not going to end well for you.
But he's reached out, and the ring kind of represents that. It's a ring that augments his own power to have control and dominion over people.
Yeah.
So he's reached out, and he's taken hold of the ring.
Yeah.
Which, I think about this a lot, even when people are making mistakes in the Bible. It's like Eve reaching out to take hold of something.
Yeah.
God says, trust me. Eve says, no, I'd rather do the one thing you said not to do because I'd like to be in charge. And so Sauron literally has something on his hand that's grasping out in rebellion. And Isildur's like, oh, that seems kind of nice. So he's like, it's sort of like this double mistake of grasping the grasping hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is Sauron, the ring represents Sauron's Eve mistake.
Hmm.
And anyone who puts the ring on their hand is like opening it for the same kind of grasping.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, the ring does not happen to fall in your pocket. The ring is...
Not usually.
No. I mean, the ring gets cut off Sauron's hand, and Isildur has to actively pick that up and use it. The ring falls in the river. Gollum has to actively pick that up and use it.
Mm-hmm.
The ring falls out. Bilbo finds it, and he has
Bilbo's the exception, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
It just happens upon him?
Yeah.
Does he not pick it up?
He does pick it up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's removed from any sort of like context like Sauron or Smeagol or anything like that.
But it appears in front of him,
It
and
does.
he has to.
Yeah.
He chooses to pick it up because it's interesting. Like, may as well keep this, and then.
Yeah,
Ends up
I'd still
poorly.
call Bilbo an exception.
Yeah.
But
Okay, it doesn't sound like it, but fine. We'll do that. Yeah, it is generally an active choice,
Yeah.
and then Bilbo chooses not to put it down, in the end at least, or the ring tricks him and doesn't let it go.
he
go
does
very
keep
easily.
the ring.
He
And
does
Gandalf's
try
already
to.
shown that is
Try
that
to.
is a problem. Yeah.
Yes. The last thing that happens there is Aragorn caught Gollum and handed him over to Mirkwood, and Gandalf
Oh, we should talk about that quick. Yeah.
worked with him. Which I think this after Mordor? This is after Mordor.
After Smeagol was in Mordor?
Yes.
After Gollum, yeah.
Yes. Smeagol did not escape Mordor. Smeagol was let go for some reason.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is also like a tracking measure, trying to get him to find
I think that's probably part of it.
Baggins. Yeah, something else. And Gandalf says Gollum is still imprisoned, or Aragorn says this, I think. Gollum is still imprisoned.
And I'm really glad he is.
Yes.
Because he's a problem.
He would cause
and you
mischief
think
if
about
he
this,
was
like-
not.
Someone who's so difficult for a wizard and a ranger to find,
Yeah,
that's bad news, man.
that's nasty.
And like Gandalf said when he was talking, this is like Shadow of the Past, like good, huge callback.
Yeah.
Something I forgot to mention back there.
Oh.
Was when Gandalf was trying to find Gollum, he kept hearing rumors of this creature that climbed up into trees to eat baby birds and
Good.
climbed through windows
What?
to eat babies.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Is that?
And
I
like
missed
that's
that.
that's at least rumors.
Oh my! I mean, I would.
Yeah, so Gollum is bad news. Like he is this really despicable little creature.
I would understand. I would.
Like this never
buy that.
confirmed beyond rumors,
Yeah.
but people are telling rumors about that. That's in Shadow of the Past.
Gollum is a sus individual.
Oh yes.
Is what the kids say these days, or they did like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably more accurate. Yeah. So Gollum's kind of bad.
Yep.
And he will continue to be kind of bad. And he will be very relevant in the books. And his badness will be very, very relevant going forward here as well. I believe you don't have to find it if you can't. I believe that it's probably there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, Aragorn says it's a good thing Gollum is still in prison. He would cause trouble if he wasn't. And this is the moment that Legolas speaks up. And we can slot this in here.
I think I think we should do it here.
Yeah. And Legolas says, well, that's why I'm here. Because Legolas is from Mirkwood.
Yeah.
Which is why he shows up in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and The Battle of the Five Armies. Great, even though those are interesting. I like the movies, but I can recognize they are not as good. Not as quality. I will not defend them as highly. But Legolas does show up. He's from Mirkwood, that area. And he says, well, we kind of let him go.
Yes.
But not because we're bad guards. No, we're actually really good guards. We lost him because we were too nice, actually.
Mhm.
That's why we lost him. Which I think is a is a way of saying they are just kind of bad at their jobs. But Legolas doesn't want to admit it. I hate elves.
This undue prejudice you have.
It's right though.
The elves, I think we can say they made a mistake here.
Escaped. How could the folks of Thranduil fail in their trust? Not through lack of watchfulness, but perhaps through overkindliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
The guards let Gollum out.
Okay.
They took Gollum to a tree.
Mhm.
Gollum likes climbing trees. He's very good at it. and then he just didn't come down, and they didn't want to go up and get him.
Sure, yeah. And you were complaining about this even before the episode.
Well, yes.
And I said,
It's
yes,
notable.
I agree.
Yes.
If you got Gollum, you probably should climb up after him even if you don't want to.
Yes.
But, he's bad news.
Yes,
Like,
he is.
I would not be surprised if you could kill an elf while he's climbing up the tree.
Potentially.
But they should still try to do
their
that.
job.
Yeah, it's sort of like a mini episode of, like, the complacency. We can wait.
Yeah.
The elf's like, oh, he's up there, but he can't go anywhere from the tree,
Mm-hmm.
which is true. So they just wait at the bottom of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. And so they think, okay, we can just wait. We don't have to
Yeah.
risk ourselves. But it turns out there's a huge attack, and
Yeah.
probably not a random attack that allows
It's an orc
Gollum.
attack, right?
Yeah, orcs. Well, I think they just say monsters of Mirkwood.
Oh.
Orcs maybe were specifically mentioned. There's this mixed arms attack.
Yeah.
And those guards end up killed anyway. And Gollum ends up escaping.
Yeah, it's the night is moonless and starless, and the orcs came at us.
I see.
Orcs and other stuff. And when they go back after the battle, the guards are dead, because they wouldn't go up in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is not good.
they might have died if they had gone up the tree, but they definitely died
I
by
will
not
say-
going up the tree.
If there hadn't been a random ambush,
Mm-hmm.
their plan would have worked.
It probably would have been fine. Yeah.
So, but it is still they're like being complacent or
Yeah.
waiting when they ought not to have.
Yeah, they're too nice. Too nice.
And Glowin says, "You're treating Smeagol better than me and Thorin,"
And Gandalf says, "Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
which it is.
Which
It's like over
is true.
80 years old at
Yeah.
this point.
Elves and dwarves think better of each other than back then, a little
Yeah.
bit.
And Gandalf's point is warranted. Like, even though Glowin is making, I think, a legit criticism.
Yeah.
Even though Thorin was not being very smart either.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
the elves did throw these dwarves in prison.
Yeah.
And they're being nice to
No
this
one
Gollum.
behaved very well.
Yeah.
Back
But
in
Gandalf's
that
point is,
episode.
sit down, Glowin. If we spoke all the grievances elves and dwarves had, we should just abandon this council.
There are
you
more
have to move
important
on,
things.
yeah.
Like, you have your problems and they have theirs, but there are
And
bigger problems.
and
in
that's
the
sort
world.
of like however people will move on.
Yeah.
Gandalf's like, yeah, okay, what's done's done.
Yeah, that we can all agree that was bad,
Mhm.
but we don't need to rehash it right now.
Yeah.
And if people would just learn to do that with all sorts of issues, then forgiveness is cool, and then
Very.
it allows people to move on. If only it were so simple. It is simple.
Yeah,
But if only it were so
I think that's
easy.
the value of a fantasy story. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't hide, and like, people are more noble in
Mhm.
Middle Earth. I wish we could just hide there. And like, honestly, like, a part of me does kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
But like, fantasy shouldn't be like to escape reality like indefinitely.
Yeah.
But to remind you of these truths.
Yeah.
Or
These are-
and even that they're possible in
Yeah.
different extents.
These
if you
are
do what the
ideals
heroes do in the story.
that you can embody if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to want to, and that's the question. I mean, Gandalf is heroic, but you can be the mentor character for somebody else. Like, you can do that if you want to, but that's ultimately your choice.
Exactly.
And it's cool to see that. Gandalf says, "Well, that's unfortunate. I guess Gollum might be relevant later."
Man, he's good at this.
Gollum kind of is. And so I think that's where we should pause, because Gandalf, after being so rudely interrupted by an elf, goes on for another 10 pages
Is
about...
it 10 pages?
Yes.
It probably is.
It's in my version, yes it is.
Well,
He's already talked for 6 straight pages, and now he talks for another 10. But that's plenty for us to talk about next time, so we will cut it here, and
Yeah.
half of the Council of Elrond, and we'll do the other half next time.
okay.
Cool. We're good on this half. Excellent. Then thank you for listening. Hopefully that's something interesting for you, and I guess we will see you next. I think this episode will come out on a Friday, so I guess you'll have to wait over the weekend to see what happens
Oh,
in the rest.
terrible.
Unfortunate. Well, consistent upload schedule. Oh well, it happens sometimes.
It's good. Audio.